There were so many other plays where it felt like Asia was bullying other players on the Fever, and I want you to watch this play here with Lexi Hall. She's standing her ground, she's trying to down screen, and Asia just chucks her to the ground. Now, there was no whistle there, and you can see ref number 16 right there. He's watching the whole thing happen. No whistle.
That right there, that's Aya Wilson, the league's MVP, throwing Lexi Hull to the ground with a referee standing just feet away. No call. Now, keep that image in your mind and listen to what that same MVP said after the game. A special whistle. That's the story Aya Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces have been pushing since the moment they lost Game 4. They want you to believe that Aaliyah Boston and the Indiana Fever were handed a free trip to the line by a biased crew, stealing a win from the two-time defending champs. They've cast themselves as the victims of a grand conspiracy. But for those watching closely, the official story is almost never the real story. Today, we'll expose that hypocrisy. We have the tape they don't want you to see, the missed fouls, the repeated aggression, and the one comment from an injured player on the sidelines that proves this meltdown was never about the refs, that it was about a champion team that simply couldn't handle getting punched in the mouth. This is the real story of how Sophie Cunningham exposed Aya Wilson's lie. We live for investigations that cut through the noise and reveal the truth. If you believe the tape doesn't lie, show your support and smash that like button. It tells us you want more deep dives that the mainstream media won't touch. Now, let's connect the dots. To understand the hypocrisy, you first need to see the official narrative the Aces created. It all began in the post-game press conference. The numbers were ugly. The Fever shot 34 free throws to the Aces 11, and Coach Becky Hammond didn't even try to hide her disgust.
It certainly felt like a differently officiated game than other parts of the series. I think we had more defensive 3 seconds today than any other part of the playoffs. I just wonder how you felt about the overall flow of the game.
Well, they shot 34 free throws and we shot 11. Next question. I got to go back and look at the tape, but it seemed like there was a lot of grabbing and holding down there. That got called one way. Anything else? I did appreciate it was a little tighter called, but tighter.
They shot 34 free throws, and we shot 11. Next question. I need to go back and look at the tape, but it felt like there was a lot of grabbing and holding that only got called one way. Anything else? I did appreciate that it was called a little tighter, but tighter on both ends would have been nice. They shot 34 free throws, and we shot 11. Next question. That wasn't analysis. That was a declaration of war on the officials. She was drawing a line in the sand, creating a simple, ready-made excuse for her team's loss. Her MVP followed that lead, taking direct aim at her on-court rival, Aaliyah Boston, with the sarcastic special whistle remark. The message was clear: we didn't lose. We were cheated. That narrative is clean, simple, and for a frustrated fan base, incredibly effective. But as narrative analysts, our job is to ask the next question. Is it true? Was the 34-11 free throw disparity really evidence of a conspiracy? Or was it the predictable result of one team's strategy completely overwhelming the other? The truth is, the Fever didn't get to the line by chance. They earned it by design. Indiana's entire game plan was built on one principle: raw, relentless aggression in the paint. While Vegas settled for jumpers, Indiana attacked, crashed the glass, and, most importantly, kept feeding Aaliyah Boston in the post again and again. And when Boston was asked how she managed to dominate the MVP and draw 13 trips to the line, her answer had nothing to do with the refs. That it was about her strategy. Let's break that down for a moment. Early seals. This isn't just basketball jargon. It's the entire key to understanding this controversy. By sealing her defender before the ball was even delivered, Boston was catching it just feet from the rim. From that spot, the defender had only two choices: give up an easy layup or commit a foul. The Aces chose to foul. That's not favoritism. That's the price of being outworked and outpositioned. Indiana dominated the paint, and in the game of basketball, that's where wins are built. The paint is where fouls happen. Simple as that. So, let me ask you, is Aya Wilson's complaint valid, or did Aaliyah Boston's strategy just expose the Aces' poor interior defense? Share your thoughts in the comments below. But remember, a smart game plan is only half the story. To truly grasp the depth of the hypocrisy coming from the Aces locker room, We have to filter out their complaints entirely and examine the evidence of their own actions on the court. We need to go back to the tape. The Aces want you focused on the box score, lost in that 34-11 disparity, feeling a sense of injustice. But the real story, the one that tears apart their entire narrative, isn't in the fouls that were called. It's in the fouls that were completely ignored.
Other plays where it felt like Asia was bullying other players on the Fever. And I want you to watch this play here with Lexi Hall. She's standing her ground. She's trying to down screen and Asia just chucks her to the ground. Now there was no whistle there and you can see ref number 16 right there. He's watching the whole thing happen. No whistle.
Let's watch that again, but this time break it down. You're looking at Lexi Hull, simply trying to set a down screen, a routine basketball play. Now, watch Wilson's reaction. That isn't just battling for position. That isn't just physical play. That is a blatant two-handed shove. She literally throws a smaller player to the floor, and the referee is standing just a few feet away watching the entire thing unfold, no whistle. Play on. And this is the same player who had the nerve to sit in front of a microphone after the game and sarcastically claim that Aaliyah Boston was the one getting a special whistle. The hypocrisy is stunning. For 3 games, Fever fans and analysts had been pointing to a clear pattern. The Aces were being allowed to play a more physical brand of basketball, getting the benefit of the doubt on 50-50 calls, while Indiana was whistled for incidental contact. This clip, this single moment, is the smoking gun. It's the visual proof that validates what so many narrative analysts had been saying all along. The whistle wasn't unbalanced in Game 4. It was the correction for the imbalances in Games 1, 2, and 3, and it wasn't just the fans who knew it. While Aya Wilson was busy crafting her victim narrative for the media, one of the Fever's own, sidelined by injury, decided she had seen enough. She picked up her phone and prepared to tell the world the truth. Enter Sophie Cunningham, a key guard for the Fever, sidelined for the season with a brutal MCL tear. Forced to watch her team's remarkable playoff run from the bench, she couldn't battle for rebounds or lock down the perimeter, but she still had a voice. And as she watched the media narrative get hijacked by the Aces' complaints, she used it. She went to social media and posted a simple, devastatingly honest message that cut straight to the heart of the matter. She wrote, "And it's about damn time. I honestly thought the refs did a nice job today on both sides. Let's not brush past that. This is a player, an insider, publicly confirming everything we just saw on the tape." The phrase, "and it's about damn time," wasn't a celebration of getting favorable calls. It was a declaration of relief that, for the first time all series, the whistle felt balanced. It was a direct shot across the bow at the Aces' entire meltdown. While Wilson was complaining about a special whistle, Cunningham was confirming that the only thing special about Game 4 was that the whistle was finally fair. This is how she exposed the It wasn't in a press conference or a polished interview. It was raw, unfiltered truth from the trenches. The voice of a team that felt they'd been battling not just the 2-time champs, but the officials as well. That simmering frustration, that belief they were constantly on the wrong side of the whistle, fueled the Fever's desperation and gave them their edge. And when Indiana's relentless physical pressure was finally paired with a fairly called game, the combination was too much for the defending champions to withstand. The pressure cooker boiled over, leading directly to a catastrophic but unforced error from their Hall of Fame coach. It was the final 30 seconds of a brutal playoff game. The Fever were clinging to a lead, and the Aces needed a miracle, and that's when it happened. Becky Hammond, a championship coach, called a timeout she didn't have. The result? A technical foul, a free throw for Indiana, and possession of the ball. It was a self-inflicted wound that sealed the game.
I think for me, this from day one has just been a really special group. We've hit a lot of adversity collectively. I had some tough stuff that I was going through personally, and this group would just rallied around me, rally around each other. And truly do live the mantra of we over me. And it's just been a really, really special group. You don't always get these opportunities to coach groups like this, at the professional level especially. And I think because they're who they are as human beings, it allows us to continue.
That wasn't just a simple mistake. It was the final crack in the dam, undeniable proof that Indiana's relentless pressure combined with a fairly called game had mentally broken the defending champs. They didn't just lose to the Fever, they lost to their own frustration. Strip away the noise and the picture is clear. Aya Wilson's special whistle complaint was never about justice. It was a smokescreen to hide the truth. That right there, that's Aya Wilson, the league's MVP, throwing Lexi Hull to the ground with a referee standing just feet away. No call. Now, keep that image burned into your mind and listen to what that same MVP said after the game. A special whistle. That's the story Aya Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces have been selling since the moment they lost Game 4. They want you to believe Aaliyah Boston and the Indiana Fever were gifted trips to the line by a biased crew, stealing a win from the two-time defending champs. They've painted themselves as victims of a grand conspiracy. But for narrative analysts watching, the official story is almost never the real story. Today, we're going to expose that hypocrisy. We have the tape they don't want you to see, the uncalled fouls, the pattern of aggression, and the one comment from an injured player on the sidelines that proves this meltdown was never about the refs. It was about a champion team that simply couldn't handle getting punched in the mouth. This is the real story of how Sophie Cunningham exposed Aya Wilson's lie. We live for investigations that cut through the noise and reveal the truth.